Lights flicker. They come back, they flicker, creates a distraction. Oh, MVP gets on his phone and he calls someone. And that's when the lights flicker and then go out. Only to have Bobby Lashley come out to a grand entrance, coming out looking like $1 million. And he gets into the ring and he stands nose to nose with Swerve Strickland. Now, I have said multiple times on this show that I am still unconvinced of the addition of the Hurt Business in AEW. I don't know if they have, if this is a spot for them. I don't know what they can bring. I don't know if they'll be able to be AEW, or if we're just going to rehash an old WWE act and people will get excited about it, right? But let me tell you this. When Lashley and Strickland stood nose to nose, face to face, I'll be damned if I wasn't a little excited. I was like, oh shit. And the crowd, they were into it. The crowd was into everything, but they were into this. They were chanting the holy shits. And I was like, damn, okay. I think there might be something here. And look, I've said it a couple of times as well. MVP has been tremendous. I think his work has been phenomenal. Shelton over the past couple of weeks, I mean, we need to dispel any thoughts we may have, any negative thoughts we may have about Shelton Benjamin's conditioning, because he's very good. He's still right up there. And people were excited to see the Bobby Lashley. They were excited to see him pop in. Now, this is the cornerstone of the thing, right? This is the cornerstone of the former Hurt Business. So let's see how this is handled. But you have a guy come in who's, he looks like a superstar and he acts like one, and and AEW knew what kind, the fans, they knew what kind of guy they have on their hands here. Anyway, this all ends up with a big beat down on Swerve and Nana. The former Hurt Business guys, they stand tall over him as MVP has a microphone saying, we are back in business. And they're referees, security, they're all trying to get in, but Lashley and Shelton, they're just throwing them away. Fantastic final angle. Like fantastic. I like the Hurt Business. You can go back and listen to any of my tape of the day, back in the day, when I'm talking about the Hurt Business. I always thought it was a super successful stable, and I always thought it was dumb to break them up. That's Vince for you. Like I said, I think there's something from a public relations standpoint. I think it's very smart to be doing this for AEW. Even outside the fact that these guys are they're stars. Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley are athletes, and they're proving their worth. On top of that, this act is proving its worth. Outside of that, there's a PR aspect to this as well. And I'm not saying this is the dominant aspect, but there is a PR aspect to this. When you consider the criticisms that WWE has been under regarding the use of black talent in the company. So bringing these guys in certainly continues, certainly underscores that aspect, but also an aspect that the fans, WWE fans, really, really liked the Hurt Business. And they wanted the Hurt Business to reform, but it just didn't happen. I think Bobby Lashley in an interview said, look, I did my best, but I'm not one of Triple H's guys, right? So he's like, okay, I'm going elsewhere. And they reform the act somewhere else, which is something that I have always been, I'm reticent about it. I'm not super excited about it. Just like I wasn't excited when they reunited the Undisputed Era in AEW. I was like, I don't want to reheat angles and acts from the other place, right? But look, I understand what's going on here and it's successful and it's working, okay? Regardless of what I'm thinking, regardless of what I'm feeling. And this is probably going to generate some goodwill, some sympathy, some goodwill for AEW because they're reforming a stable that wrestling fans liked, and just so happens that they're all black guys. And I'm not saying this as a knock. I think it's smart. Au contraire, it's a, you know, I think it's a good. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's providence that Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin were all available at the same time, as WWE is under fire for, you know, their booking of black talent. I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying. So we got the debut. Obviously, we're gonna get Swerve and Lashley at Full Gear. I think that's a given. I'm super curious at this point. At this point, moving from this point on, like now the ball is entirely in, you know, the former Hurt Business's court. They got to find another name. We got to stop doing this, right? They got to give us the new name. And look, it's been good so far. I hope it continues down that path. I've always liked Bobby Lashley. He's always had a soft spot. I've always had a soft spot for him, just because of what he looks like, who he is. Like he's not my favorite professional wrestler, you know, but he's never a guy that I just hand wave and go, oh, poo poo, you know, because he's got too much star quality to him. He's too much of a pro wrestler. He has the look, the feel. You know, you just can't you can't just discard him. So I'm excited to see how this is all going to go down, because at least I'm getting more and more excited, because so far this has been really well put together. Anyway,